All right, this is lesson 4. We are going to read a science story today from our Foss Science Stories booklet. And the title of the story is A Report from the Blue Planet. Okay, as we are working on this story, you will need to make sure that you look in your science booklet for the questions that you will see on page 40. A report from the Blue Planet, comprehend questions. Okay. So you will notice it is right here, a report from the Blue Planet, comprehension questions, okay? And we will get to those as soon as we listen to the story. All right, water. A report from the Blue Planet. 2, Chief of Science, Home Planet, from Interplanetary Science Officer, Fleet 1138. Greetings from the Blue Planet. I mentioned in my last report I have been exploring it as directed. Finally, I know why it appears blue from space. Almost 3/4 of it is covered with water. For your records, sir, pure water is a liquid with no smell and no taste. 97% of the planet's water is in its oceans. This is seawater, which is salty. A little more than 2% of the planet's water is frozen. This water forms glaciers and ice at the planet's poles. That leaves just 1% as usable fresh water. Much of that is underground. The rest is found on the surface. The people of the Blue Planet use this water. They drink it and cook with it. They use it for washing. Water is matter. I have observed water in 3 states on the planet. It is found as liquid, ice, and vapor. Water is the only material on this planet found naturally in 3 different states. It occurs as a liquid, a solid, and a gas. I encountered water first as a liquid. Drops of water hit our spaceship near the planet's surface. A new vocabulary word, sir. Rain. This rain along my ship landed in a river. The ship flowed into a larger body of water or lake. Another interesting fact is that water changes its shape. It takes the form of whatever container holds it. From the lake, the ship went over a waterfall. See damage report 1. The river below the waterfall carried the ship to an ocean. An ocean current took the ship to a cold region. Some of the water was solid. An ice sheet covered the shore. Frozen water fell from the sky as snow. Water can also freeze into hail and sleet. Soon, frozen water covered the ship windows as frost. I could not see anything outside. This led me to find another form of solid water. It's called an iceberg. See damage report 2. At this point, we took off in our spaceship and flew through the planet's atmosphere. The snow and frost on the ship melted into water and then disappeared. As we flew through the atmosphere, we encountered puffy white formations called clouds. Closer inspection showed that clouds are made of tiny drops of water. We watched the droplets join together to form bigger drops, and then they fell toward the planet's surface. This is the rain I mentioned earlier in my report. As you can see, sir, water is an amazing thing. In fact, I have discovered that it is vital. All living things here contain water. Even the bodies of the Blue Planet people are 2/3 water. Without water, life could not exist on the Blue Planet. Damage report 1. Crumpled F-2000 panel on subdeck 3. Missing heat shield tiles. Damage sustained and plunge over a waterfall. Water tumbling over a cliff. Damage report 2. Shattered lens on front port external camera. Cracked pluvium tube. Short circuit in system circuit board. Damage sustained. Collision with an iceberg. A massive block of frozen water floating in the ocean. Okay, so let's take a look at our questions. Okay, the very first question says, how much of the planet is covered in water? So let's go back to our first page. And it told us there on the first page, right here, 97% of the planet's water is in its oceans. Okay, so how much of the planet is covered in water? 97%. And where is most of the water found? In oceans. Okay, the next one is, why is seawater different than fresh water? Okay, well, if we look on our passage here, it says this is seawater, which is salty. A little more than 2% of the planet's water is frozen. Okay, so water is salty. Sea water is salty. All right, what percent of the planet's water is frozen? Well, I just read that. A little more than 2% of the planet's water is frozen. Okay, so 2%. I'm going to say a little more than 2%. Where are the frozen forms found on Earth? Okay, where are the frozen forms found on Earth? Let's hear. It says this water forms glaciers and ice at the planet's poles. Much of that is underground. The rest is found on the surface. Okay, so where are the frozen forms found on Earth? Just want to make sure we're looking at that. Because this is frozen water fell from the sky as snow. Okay. So the frozen forms are found in glaciers and at the planet's poles. In glaciers and at the planet's poles. What percent is usable fresh water? That leaves just 1% as usable fresh water, and much of that is underground. 1%, and it is underground. Right? Water is matter. Water is matter. Tell the 3 states that water can be found on the planet. The 3 states, it is found as liquid, ice, and vapor. Liquid, ice, and vapor. And it occurs naturally in what 3 states? It told us, and naturally it occurs as a liquid, a solid, and a gas. Liquid, solid, gas. And water can change its, I believe it's form. Just want to find it in the passage to prove it. Let's see here. Did it say it down there? Just want to say it can change its form. I do remember reading that directly. Yep. Another interesting fact is that water changes its, shape. It takes the form of whatever container holds it. So we want to say water can change its shape. Okay. And number 12, list what happened to the alien ship as it was hit by the rain. What happened to the alien's ship as it was hit by the rain? All right. Went over a waterfall, carried it into an ocean. Okay. It went over a waterfall. It got carried to the ocean. Okay, then what happened to it? The river below the waterfall carried the ship to an ocean. An ocean current took the ship to a cold region. The ocean current took the ship to a cold region. Okay, give you a second to get that down. All right, what happened after that? Some of the water was solid, an ice sheet covered the shore. Frozen water fell from the sky. Soon, frozen water covered the ship windows as frost. So we have all in here, okay, to sort of summarize there. So, ice sheet, frozen water fell from the sky as snow, covered windows in frost, snow fell, windows covered in frost. Okay. This led me to find another form of solid water. It's called an iceberg. Okay. So it went to an iceberg, flew through the planet's atmosphere. The snow and frost on the ship melted. We flew through the atmosphere. We encountered puffy white formations called clouds. So, okay, snow fell, windows covered in frost. And what else can we do to summarize this so it doesn't seem quite as long? This led me to find another form of solid water. It's called an iceberg. And we took off in our spaceship and flew through the planet's atmosphere. Interesting. Okay. Took off in spaceship. And what else can we say? Flew through the planet's atmosphere. And flew through the planet's atmosphere. Okay, and experienced all kinds of other things like clouds, and reported on rain. Okay, just basically found that water was vital. We have to have water on our planet. So that's just a little summary. You can add more if you want, but that should be enough for you to have a good description as to what happened to the ship, because after they did that. Okay. All right. So we are then going to move on to another exciting experiment.